Is this thing on? Oh, okay, cool, it is. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the 1 hour of BETADCIU. Now, I'm sure you're all very excited to watch this BETADCIU and see what I did, but I just want to say a couple of things before doing so. You can skip to the timestamp you see right now on the screen to just get straight to the BETADCIU. First off, not only is this the 100th BETADCIU, today is also the day I made my very first BETADCIU 1 year ago. February 25th, 2022, I released the You Can't Run BETADCIU. And little did I know that BETADCIU would get me to where I am today. Anyways, second off, I'm gonna be using captions throughout this video. Yes, I know, call me an Inkzilla and Chumbot and Jom copy. I don't care. I feel like it's kind of a necessity for me to use captions because this is so I can explain what is happening, why I use which character, and etc. I think they will come really useful because, third of all, this BETADCIU's main theme is time travel, or references. You'll see what I mean. With that out of the way, I hope you all enjoy watching Omnipresent Noichi remix, but every turn, a different cover is used. Enjoy! You know, I like to imagine my BETADCIU series as a sort of farming game. You see a group of people play it and make content of it, and you decide to give it a try. You start up the game, make a new account, and begin your journey. You don't know much about the game, so it's no surprise your first time is not gonna be that good. But then you keep playing for a few more days, then those days turn into weeks, and then those weeks turn into months, until you get the right technique down and you know exactly what you're doing. Next thing you know, you get recognized by the community, whether it is because of being active on their community Discord, or it's because you're showing off your cool landscapes you created in your own little fantasy. People started recognizing you. People love what you did with it. And there are a few that even get inspired with what you made and decide to try it themselves, but with their own little twist. You even managed to make a bunch of friends, some new, some you admired, and some you got inspired by. After feeling completed and feeling like you've accomplished everything the game and community has to offer, you suddenly stop being active on the game, lose interest in it, and decide to focus on other stuff, pretty much meaning that you stop playing. But then one day, you will look back to the amount of fun you used to have and that you miss doing so, and the amount of friends that you've made along the way, and so you boot up the game to play it again. Some like to continue where they stopped last time, but for others, like me, I like to uninstall the game, reinstall it, make a new account, and start all over again.
There have been many foes trying to take over this computer over the past few months. There was the hedgehog with bloody eyes and amethyst hair shards, also known as the Blue Terror, and the emerald-eyed lady who knows it all, also known as the Green Terror. Thankfully, their tyranny had been put to a stop by the one they called the Red Error. Afterwards, everyone lived in peace and harmony. Or so they thought they were. You see, all the way back to when the Green, Blue, and Black Terror took over, the Red Terror thought he deleted us, but boy was he wrong. Now, you must be wondering where we ended up, how we turned into what we are now, how we hid in plain sight, and how we plan on attacking. Well, I'd be more than glad to show you very, very soon. Until then, how about we make this a little fun? I will let you choose between the three given choices you see right now. Whatever you choose will be what hint I give you for what is coming next. Choose wisely. You chose the left one. Good choice. You know, I was gonna choose the left one for you even if you chose the middle or the right one. But that doesn't matter now. Enjoy this hint that I give you. And we will see you very, very soon.